Hi, and welcome to another product review with Atomic Darts, and I'm Matt with Atomic Darts. Today we're going to take a look at flights and shafts. Let's get to it. Alright, so today we're taking a look at flights and shafts and a couple different variations and styles and different setups that are available. Real quick before we get into that, I do want to do a quick shout out to Jennifer Mounts. Go to YouTube, just look up Jennifer Mounts or Jennifer Mounts Darts. Really interesting young lady. She is a professional dart player. She talks a lot about being a female dart player and what that kind of means. She's got some really neat videos in regards to sponsorship, how to get sponsorship, how she went about getting sponsored. Really some funny interview type things. She does this thing called Whiny Wednesdays. So really big on her right now. Really enjoyed her videos. Check her out. Again, that's Jennifer Mounts. Check that out on YouTube. So anyway, let's get back into this. I just want to give her a quick shout out. But let's get back into the shafts and flights here. We'll start off with taking a look at typical foldable flights. These are what you get when you buy a set of darts. These happen to be 100 micron. There's hundreds, there's 80s, 90s, 120s, 140s, 150s, and that's just the thickness of the flight itself. And the problem with these flights is they just don't, you kind of get them out of whack and they don't hold a really good 90-degree angle. They're inexpensive though. You can pick up a set of 3 anywhere from, well, you can get them on sale for like 60 cents a set. You can buy them in bulk, up to about $3 depending on the set that you happen to pick up or the style or the material that it's made of. But that's a typical price point for these, but these do get damaged fairly easily. They don't hold that 90-degree angle, so you can certainly go through a couple of sets a week if you're playing often. If you're just playing occasionally, a set may last you a month or more. It just depends on how. If you're playing that, if you're not playing that often, these are probably going to last you quite a bit longer because your groupings aren't going to be so tight that your points are hitting and deflecting off of here. So if you're just I play occasionally, these are great to go with. If you're working at becoming a much better dart player, you're practicing consistently, these are great because they're inexpensive. The downside to them is you're going to go through a lot of them. So you got to take that into consideration when we look at cost, because some of these systems are not that expensive, not much more than this, and some of these systems are extremely expensive when you start talking about them. So that's this particular flight. Talk about a little bit about shafts here, and typically you've got your poly shaft or your plastic shaft and your aluminum shaft. Just depends on feel there. Weights are pretty similar. The aluminums are pretty light. It's just whether you like that feel. People do tend to like the plastics more than I don't know, it's probably about 50-50. Really kind of depends. The downside to some of these systems, especially like the plastics, like this one, this is a set I was goofing around with, trying some different sizes, kind of trying to find a size that I like, and can't really see it really well with the camera, unfortunately, but this is split open, so now flights are just falling out of it. The other downside to these is I was screwing around and I Robin Hooded this dart and just all 4 of them just blew right out. Just did like explosion. I wish I had that on camera. That was pretty cool. So that's the other downside to these, is the fact that they fall apart, they break. It's a disposable piece of playing darts, the poly shafts and those the foldable flights. They're just something that you consistently buy over and over again. Aluminums I've never been a huge fan of. I've only thrown moderately with these. I don't know how well they actually hold up because it's just not my thing. Please leave a comment down below if you've got a comment in regards to aluminums or even the poly shafts or things that maybe you've dealt with them. And then while I've got some darts sitting up here, I just want to show you kind of my current setups. This is my current steel tip setup. It is the Daytona Fire barrel. I'm using a poly shaft, but I'm using the Robson flight system, and I'll talk more about that here in just a bit. But that's my steel tip kind of setup currently. There's a couple other sets I kind of throw with, but this is my setup really. And then when I get into a soft tip, I happen to use the Jennifer Mounts, bringing her back up. Her barrel, she is sponsored by Shot. I like her barrel, the feel of it. And then I'm doing the Accurate Dart shaft and flight, and then I use the Accurate point. Currently, this is kind of my setup, and enjoying throwing that. So I just want to kind of show those off. I'm going to hold on to this because when we talk about Accurate, we're going to get into that a little bit more. So again, here are our systems. Let's jump into, I'm going to start with just Condor because it's sitting here, and this is one of the more unique systems because it's an integrated flight and shaft, which is pretty kind of cool. So you've got your whole flight and shaft in one, and cost on these probably right around $9. Let me double check here. I've got cheat sheets over here. On the Condor, yeah, $9 for a setup. So you're getting your shaft and your flight all in one. They are basically a polymer, and they're pretty flexible, durable. They hold a decent 90 degree. One of the other kind of cool things with these is there is a groove right here, so you can, when you're throwing, if your dart comes in and you're getting these really good close tight set and your dart hits here, instead of deflecting off or doing something, it'll slide right in there. And I've seen this, it's pretty neat. That's the whole idea behind that channel there, is to help you get tighter grooves. And as a company, of course, they had some pros come in and do a bunch of testing with them, and their groupings technically were tighter, and they attribute that to that shaft or that groove right there. Thing about these, and I don't know if it says here on their packaging, basically designed and shaped to easily allow for an incredible close grouping that is both original and completely unique, which this is. But they do talk about performance advisory. Here it is. For consistent performance and minimal adjustment, it is advised when removing darts from the dart board to remove from the barrel. No, that's not what I was looking for. It's not on here, but they do on their website to talk about how your flight trajectory does change with this particular shaft and flight setup. It actually is a little bit, I don't want to say heavier, but it's a lower flight trajectory with their particular product. So you have to take that into consideration. You may be adjusting your throw a little bit to get used to this setup, and then if you pull this off, you got to readjust. So just something to take into consideration with the Condor system. But again, it's a nice system. $9 for 3. Pretty much similar to our standard setup, cost-wise, when you factor in everything. And pretty darn durable. Good for steel tip and soft tip. Probably designed more with soft tip, as a thought process. But I have seen people play with these with steel tip, and I've done quite a few throws with a set of these in steel tip, just trying it out and seeing how it worked out, and liked it. They come in solid colors. They do some prints like this one right here. They have no collabs currently with any professional dart players that I know of currently. They just do they do some stylized printed pieces, and then the colors. You've got your standards, kites, all the shapes. Here, we'll just read off Dynastars because I know standard, your pair, your slims, your kites. Those are all available in the Condor. So that's the Condor. All right, set that over here. Try to make too much of a mess here. Let's do the click system next. We'll talk about this. So the click system by Harrows, pretty cool little system. Basically, you've got on the click, flights are about $9 a set, and your shafts are $9 a set. It's a poly shaft. And we'll just take one of these right here. Nope, those are hard to get off. Let's take one of these. Just kind of show you the system real quick. So, standard. Just screw that in there and then take a flight out. And these are, again, these have a really nice feel to them. It's almost regal. It's just got a really nice smooth feel to them. But holds a really nice 90-degree angle. And this system called the click system, and it clicks in. These do spin a little. That's another thing with your aluminums and your poly shafts. They do have shafts that are rigid, and they have shafts that spin. Some people like the spinning because it'll help move the flight out of the way when a dart's coming in. I don't know. I'm not huge on the spinning shafts. Personally, not my thing. Might be yours. So that is this system. Again, pretty simple. Just locks right in there. There you go. You just kind of push down and pull, and these will come out. So they don't come out very easy, and they just snug in there. And again, in the click system, it's just some colored flights, no collabs currently, and no real variations on the flights. Those are the flights, again, around $9, and then the shafts, again, around $9 a set. So you're looking at about $20 to get set up. If you're not busting your shafts, you're just replacing flights occasionally. And depends on if you're playing steel tip or soft tip, of course, how that all works out. Set those off to the side. So that's the click system. They really do hold a nice 90-degree angle. I've thrown them slightly. So again, if you've been using this system and you want to leave some comments down below, that'd be awesome. Let's see, their shafts come in a short, a midi, and a medium. So pretty some standard sizes on that, and that's the click system. We'll do the Robson system. This is one that I'm currently playing with. I like this setup. It's a little unique. A lot of these systems have a proprietary shaft. This system, and then there's another one out there that's kind of set up similar to this, but you can buy the Joker driver. They've got their own shaft, but their shafts are like $38 for a setup. They're a carbon fiber shaft. But their flights are very similar, and I'm pretty sure I have not used them, but they work similar to this. So here's what's pretty cool about this. This is a really nice, firm, thick plastic. They come in different colors. Currently, they're just doing colors. They're not doing collabs. Currently, they're not doing any design elements. It's just colors, which is fine. These are about $6, if I remember correctly. About $6.80 for a set of 3. So not bad, not much different than your standard foldables, except for, close price-wise. But the cool thing here is that you've got these grooves, and you can use just a standard poly shaft. So again, a couple bucks for those, and you just pop this guy in here, and it just snugs in, and it's in there well, and it holds a really nice 90-degree angle. And I'm using these with my steel tips, and they do glance off here decently. They don't tear up because they're really nice, thick plastic, and they hold that 90-degree angle, which I personally love. So I have switched over to these recently and have really enjoyed throwing them, and my groupings have been tighter, a few more 180s for me, so this is something I like. Personally, it's what I'm using. Again, Robson Flights. But again, really just nice looking, solid looking piece. And you may be asking, okay, so what's the big deal? Why not just use a standard foldable? Here's the thing with these systems and where they're really getting, or what they're trying to achieve. Outside of the ability to just be quick to change pieces out, and to have dynamic pieces as we get into the Fit Flight and the L style, they've done collabs, so you get these really cool pieces that the pros are using, or that your favorite darter is using, or maybe it's something that you can get designed yourself. But the reality behind all of this is it's to help with the mental game. They may not come out and say that, but a lot of the stuff, it's really the concept. If you're up playing a match, or maybe you're just at the bar hanging out with friends and you go to throw, and your flight falls out, and you got to pick it up, you got to try and jam it in there. And sometimes these plastic shafts, you go to line it up, and it's like, oh no, I got that wrong, and now I'm trying to do this, and then I break one, or I fold it out, and it's all screwed up. I'm like, you get frustrated, and you lose the mental capacity to hang in there and get up and do your throw. So a lot of the stuff really helps from a mental standpoint. Keep that in mind when we look at these systems and we start talking about price points. We're going to start getting into some heavier price pointed items here. Just keep in mind that they're really designed to longevity and to help you maintain mental focus when playing. So again, Robson there. I do want to do the Dynastar. This is an inexpensive set to get into as well, and then we'll dive into some of these other ones. But the Dynastar, they have an aluminum type shaft and this poly shaft, and then they've got this little aluminum piece that comes off, and they come in the card style and these little tubes. And this piece just fits in there and pops in place, holds on there, and it is a spinning flight. As far as I know, they all spin with the Dynastar, and they just kind of pop in there. They're a little bit more loose than any of the other that I have messed with, but not necessarily a big issue, except for when you fly in and you get close and it will pop off. Have seen that happen more often than not with this, even maybe more so than with your standard polys. I've seen the flights fall off of here, but it's simple because you just pick it up and you pop it back in place and you're good to go, and it holds a reasonable 90 degree. This is not my favorite system by any means. It's fairly inexpensive. The Dynastar was they were about six to $10 for shafts, and then these were about $6 a pop. Not my favorite setup, but some people really love these, and they swear by them, and based on that price point, would be worth at least trying them out and see whether they work for you. Again, that's the Dynastar system. We'll just set that right here. Let's talk, before we get into the two big players, which would be Fit Flight and L Style, we'll talk about Accurate. Accurate's not sure how long they've been around. I know that they've been really hammering the social media stuff in the last year or two. Newer company, 2015, maybe earlier than that. I'll try and post some information up there, down here somewhere. But this is a shaft in flight that I like. So we're just going to pull one of my darts, and they have this in a hard and a soft. Holds a really nice 90-degree angle. But their shafts, it's a proprietary shaft here with this system, and it's an aluminum shaft, or a Luma. Did I write it down? Luminium. It's not aluminum, but they call it something else. And their price point was about $20. Is that correct? About $22 to $30 just for your shafts. And it's really based on whether you get their premium or not. So there isn't the cost of this, but it's durable. So that would screw in here. It's got a little O-ring on there. Snug that guy down. And the other nice thing is these just don't come loose. With some of the polys and some of these other shafts, they could potentially come loose. And again, that throws your mental focus off when you're trying to tighten that down. And you're actually supposed to be at the hockey, throwing, clocks going, so forth, and you're just kind of, just get off your game. And then dartitis sets in and everything gets out of whack. So the other thing with their flights is they screw in. So it's not a pop in, it's not a click system. They don't, these actually screw into place, and so you would screw them down, kind of get to where it's tight, and then you just give that last little, and it snugs it all in. And again, you got a nice 90-degree angle. And so this is Accurate darts. They do a point as well. We're going to talk about points necessarily today. I use their point I happen to like it. I like this system personally. Right now, my favorite system with soft tip, and I'll explain a little bit why. A lot of people fit flight L style, just happens to not be me, and I'll kind of explain a little bit on that. But really, again, they come with these pretty, they come with this case, which is kind of cool because you can kind of carry it around if you wanted to. This is their soft. It's a little bit more flexible than, say, their hard. And then that's the slim. So that is the accurate system for you. Set that off to the side there. Again, that's the system I'm currently using, the soft tip. Let's do fit flight. So fit flight, standard colors, standard shapes with that, and then they've done some collabs. And we've got these printed up pieces. Take them all out. These are the juggler. This has got skull bones on it. They've got a ton of different styles and designs with that. This happens to be their plastic or poly shaft, but they've got, we're in fit flight, so they've got a carbon shaft. Just bring this over here. Don't look at it. It's my notes. This shaft is about $9.50. Their carbon is $38 a set. Their Duralumin is $52, and then sit down for this one. Their titanium set is $110 for 3 shafts. Keep in mind, you're probably not going to ever buy another set if you're popping $110 for those. They're going to last you, I would hope, a lifetime. But they're all pretty much made the same. They have the different standard sizing. See, small, medium, mid sizing. And how this particular setup works, they've got locked and they've got spinning. Screws into your shaft, and then this guy just kind of pops in, and he doesn't click in place, but they snug in place, and there you go. You've got your flight and shaft. And again, really nice 90-degree angles. If you're sticking with the poly setup and just the flights, it's relatively moderate cost. For these, the flights were about anywhere from $7 something to $12 a set. Depends on whether it's a collab or not, solid color, it's got printing on it. The other nice thing about this particular setup or company is there's a ton of flights out there, and they're just introducing new flights consistently. So you can design or come up with a look and a feel that you're going to be happy with, just based on all the different options that they have. So again, that's fit flight right there. These are just their standard, some standard colors, and then some other fun colors. Let's put this stuff in here. And last but not least, we're going to talk about L style. And L style is a little bit different animal here. Again, here's a collab. I just blanked on his name, American player, if you couldn't tell. Soft tip. And a lot of this stuff, like with the fit flight and the L style, they really, it's kind of their world is the soft tip. That's where they sit. Most of their pro players, or most of the people you see sponsored by them, are going to be soft tip players. Excuse me, but steel tip players still use this product. They just replace it more often than a soft tip player. And so one of the interesting things about this particular product, shafts again come in a poly. What was theirs? They had a poly and a carbon pretty much are their shafts, and so the polys are about $6.50 a pop, and the carbons are right around $20 a pop. And they've got a couple different design styles and manufacturers of this. It's not just all L style. There's 2 other manufacturers that do their shafts or shafts that would work with theirs. So how this system works is you've got your flight. It's a little bit different than most of them. It's got a hole in it. You have a ring. It's called a champagne ring. And that ring, it gets inserted into that hole. And then you take your shaft in your flight. They match up there. They push in, and as the shaft pushes into the champagne ring, it tightens down, holding it in place, giving it a nice snug feel. Again, really nice 90-degree angle. One of the things that are nice about these is they put a little bridge up here, a little wedge in there to kind of help hold up that 90-degree angle. And they've got a little edge to them, help with rigidity, and technically it helps with flying through the air, cutting through all the still air that you have, maybe the AC's on. So that's L style. Again, they've got a ton of different flights and shapes, sizes, coloration variations, player variations. They've got shafts, different variations. You've got the rings come in aluminum and then the plastic, and they've got different color variations with that. And some of the flights come preloaded with rings. So I think that's it. Yep, we've kind of gone through that. That's a look at some flights and some shafts. Today there are a few other setups out there like Juggler. I can't think of the other ones, but there are a few others out there. This is just the predominant ones that I know about or that I've seen in my short time of playing darts over the last few years. These are the ones that have come across. We carry some of these we don't carry at Atomic Darts. Got to get that push in there. So again, shafts and flights. Any comments you have on these or certain setups that you use that you want to talk about, please comments down below. Anything that I missed here or any comments you want to just make or maybe update me in regards to things, comments down below. And again, thank you very much, and this has been another product review with Atomic Darts, and I'm Matt with Atomic Darts, and we'll see you on the next one.